Alright, gang, welcome back to Survive 25 on Zielonka. It is January. Not a whole lot to do today. We do need to do a second application of fertilizer here. I will note quickly, in the last episode I realized after I was done that I did not do the fertilization on this specific field here that we are currently putting the second application onto. I did go ahead and do that off camera. I also did something else off camera. I bought a chainsaw and I started to start chopping down pretty much all the trees on our land. You can see one down way over there. And in the process, I also decided, well, since I was able to get rid of this little tree here, it didn't even leave a stump. It just kind of like removed the tree altogether. So I extended this field out a little bit here. So it was somewhere around in here is where we had stopped last time. So it's a pretty decent extension here. Hopefully this doesn't cause us too much issue. It might, but anyway, I extended it out. So we've got a bit of a bigger field now as well. So. Which is good, right? It's going to make us a lot more money in the long run whenever it comes time to harvest this. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. I think I might have misspoke recently. This fertilizer spreader does have the ability to drop down the width that you were utilizing. So we'll do that here when we flip around. Because this field's a little bit bigger than what the max range of the spreader is. And as you can see, it's a very small amount. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just turn the settings on here just to make sure I turn it down to the right, because I don't know how low I can actually get here. I don't know if 2 is going to be good or if I need to go 3 or if 1. Don't know. That should be sufficient. I probably could do 1, honestly, but we'll just go with the 2 and make sure we hit everything. So we got $51,000 in the bank. This morning, before we started this episode, or even earlier, I started working around 7 in the morning. I did go over to our greenhouses and kind of top them up with liquid fertilizer. That was the main thing they really needed. The water, they're okay on, so we can kind of touch up the water later on. So Farm 1 is good. Hey, we can leave Farm 1B for a little while. So really, we're just going to be kind of working on Farm 2 here today. Now, as far as Farm 2 goes, we really don't have a whole lot else we can do today. I knocked down all these trees over here, as you can see. I will show those to you a little bit better here in a second. So one thing I think we're going to do is actually purchase a winch so we can try to winch those trees out. Now, as far as what we're going to do with the trees, I really haven't decided that yet. There's a chance maybe we put down a sawmill and just turn on one of the productions and try to get something out of it. Some pallets out of it, right? Which would probably make us a little bit more money than just selling the trees outright. Or we could just sell the trees outright. I don't know. I haven't really fully decided here what I want to do. But let's walk over here. So this is a chainsaw I got. It's the Jonsered. I'm not sure if I'm saying that name right or not, but one of the only well, not even one of the only chainsaws so far, vanilla chainsaw at least, that I have yet to use. So I figured it was a good one to include. So there's actually not as many trees back here as you might think. So you can see this tree is clearly leaning up against the invisible wall. So the invisible wall actually starts somewhere around in here. I can't get to this tree. See, can't get to it no matter what I do. Can't get to that tree. So the invisible tree kind of just runs like this to the side of our shed here. So this is a very curvy area over here. The thing I was kind of thinking about, which kind of goes against what we were talking about before, right? So I have the shed here, and I said, well, we can put the yard here and everything. Well, you know, with the awkward shape of this corner here, I also had the thought of, well, maybe we move the shed to somewhere in here, and then we put like another shed or something here, right? Because we have until about, it's somewhere in this vicinity that we have the land to, somewhere in there. That way we could have a little bit more room going this way. Now, it wouldn't really be able to probably be enough for a field, though. That's the thing, right? I don't know. I guess I don't really know for sure. For now, we're just going to leave this here until we have a little bit of a better idea. We could expand this field, I guess. I guess that's really what we would be able to do with it, is just expand this field out further. Because I think that would probably make a little more sense than putting in another tiny field here. But maybe not. Maybe not. In any case, let's go get a winch for now. There are some new sawmills out here. I've talked about it before. Let's see here. This is one I'm utilizing in a lot of different series right now, but it's such a good one, and it's very inexpensive. I'm not sure, though, we would get our full money back, because as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's one way down here. We could chop this guy right here, right? So really it's, I don't know, four true trees, and the rest of them are tiny little trees. So I'm not sure that we would even get, you know, our money's worth out of a sawmill, if that makes sense, right? So I'm kind of leaning towards just getting the winch, going and selling the trees as they are, and then selling the winch back, right? I mean, I don't even know if we would get... I guess the problem is I don't even know for sure if we would actually get our money's worth out of the winch, right? I'm not even sure we would get the amount back that it would cost us to have the winch and sell the winch in the trees. But no matter what we do, we've got to get rid of those trees, right? So we need the winch just to at least move them out of the way, if nothing else. I guess what we could do is buy the winch and then keep the winch. Just don't get rid of the winch, right? There's probably going to be a likelihood at some point we're going to need the winch again when we start expanding farm number 2. I can certainly see us utilizing it further. There's a lot of land around us that have trees on it. Even if it's 2 or 3 trees, there's still a lot of trees there that we could take down, and then maybe eventually we get enough to put a sawmill in. Who knows? But anyway, you get the point I'm trying to get at, right? I don't really know for sure what we're going to do with it, but we do need to get those wood, or those trees rather, out of the way. Now, you might be asking, well, what are you going to do with all those stumps? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. We would need a stump grinder. There's no cheap stump grinders out there. It's $26,000, something like that. It's a lot of money, right? So we're heading up to the shop here. We're almost here, actually. I'll see what I can find. Maybe there'll be something in the used market for us. I doubt it. We're never that lucky, but fingers crossed, maybe there'll be something in the used market for us. If not, we'll probably just purchase the vanilla base game winch that's 8 or 9, 10,000, whatever it is, to help us get rid of those trees. And then at that point, we'll take a look and see what kind of contracts we get out there. So let me run into the shop here and see what we can find, huh? Alright, so no deals, gang, at all. No deals whatsoever in the shop, so we're just going to buy the winch outright here. So, well, we already purchased the winch outright, I should say. We just bought the winch outright. It was $8,500. Not really cheap, but a little bit cheaper than what I had initially anticipated. I thought they were $9,500, something like that. So, could be worse, I guess, if you think of it in that sense. So we're going to head back to the farm here. We've got $42,571 now to our name. We should gain a little bit more money here at 9. Yeah, $43,653. Because some of the auto sell of some of the greenhouses occur every hour, right? So should get a small amount every hour as we move forward here. So as far as the trees go, where are we going to take those to? That's a great question. I don't know where we sell trees at in here. I'm assuming it's very, very far away, because that's normally how our luck goes. And selling the trees outright, obviously, like I mentioned, not going to get us the best deal. It is, however, January, and that's the best time to sell them. Now, granted, wood fluctuates by not even $20. Looks like the biomass heating plant, actually the sawmill, is slightly better, but it is much, much further away. So we're probably going to go... excuse me, gang. I'm probably going to go to the biomass heating plant, more than likely. Saves wear and tear on the vehicle, among other things, right? What I might end up doing as well is once we get all the trees out and sold, I might end up driving the winch back up to the shop here just to see what I get out of it. Well, I probably could go into the menu and figure that out, you know, pretty quickly, but... you know, at least see what kind of money we would get back on it, right? I think I know where that biomass heating plant is. I think I'm very familiar with that. I think that was over near... our starting farm was on FS22 on this map. I think we were very near that spot, so I think I'm pretty familiar with where that is, but... well, the nice thing about the winch here is it does allow you to pull 4 trees so long as they're not too heavy. This first tree we're grabbing here is by far the heaviest tree we got, so let's grab this guy. We can pull him out a little bit. I'm going to connect it to this other small little dude right here, because why not? Now, you got to be careful with this winch. This winch, unless they made an update today, which I don't think they did, it has major issues. If you're looking at it at a certain angle, it will freeze up the entire game. At least it does on console. Sends you all the way back to the dashboard, and yeah, you're kind of boned. So anything you did up until your last auto-save, or the time you saved, rather, is all gone. You have to do it all over again. So I'm trying to be very, very careful here with what I'm doing. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these 3, and then we'll grab the other 3 or 4 remaining on the next trip. Because I believe, as long as I did this correctly, we should have 1 or 2 trees over here. 2 trees over here. Yep, 2 trees over there. There should be 1 more over here. This guy right here. There he is. And then we've got that guy way down there that I showed you. It's a small one. I might even be able to pick that one up with hand. Or by hand, I should say. I'm not positive on that, but I might be able to. Oh my gosh, this whole thing where it just starts jumping it's weird, man. The way this works is super weird, how it just jumps everything. Alright, I'm gonna have to realign this as well, because it's hitting the barn. Or the shed in this case. Alright, this is gonna be a bit of an issue getting to there. The main reason why we're going to take the heating plant more than the other one is not only just the wear and tear on the tractor, right? Because this thing's having a lot of trouble pulling these 3 trees by itself. But the traffic, right? Dealing with all the traffic we're going to have to be dealing with as we're doing this. I don't know if that's helping or not. I don't think it is. Anyway, this is going to be a slow process. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me move at 5-6 miles per hour with these trees trying to get to the biomass heating plant, but I will see you there once I get there. Might even be 10 o'clock in game time by the time we get there. Might even be after it. Okay, well, we've made it. 10 out of 10 would not recommend doing this ever, if I were you. It was pretty brutal what we got here. Nonetheless, I'm not sure how much we're actually going to get out of that, because that whole trees aren't really in there, but hopefully they give us the whole thing. I think the trigger's somewhere over here. $812. That was definitely not worth anywhere near what I was expecting. I was expecting at least $2 grand out of that, and we got $817. Oh boy. Well, it did flip past 10 o'clock, though, so you can see we did make some money, though, off the greenhouses, so I guess that's good. Let's go get the other ones. Alright, it took an eternity to get up here. As you can see, it is past 10. 10 out of 10 would not recommend this, ever. Now, it's probably going to be better if I actually chop these up. I would assume I'm going to get more money if they're in the normal length that you would expect, right? Versus just selling them all outright. I would think. I mean, I'm not positive by that statement, but I would think that is a correct statement. So let's just try it. Let's just try chopping some up and see if maybe we get... Oh, well, never mind. I can't do it. They're not going to let me do it because I don't own the land. Well, there you go. You got that, I guess, Z. Good job, buddy. Guess I should have chopped them up before I could drag them all the way up here. Maybe that would have been better, but it would have made a lot more trips, and I was just trying to get them here as fast as we could, with less trips and less wear and tear on the tractor here. Hindsight, it looks like I should not have went that approach, but It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Right. Let's see if we can back this up here a little bit further, though. At least the big guy here, the big dog. There we go. Now we got the big dog, most of it in there. So let's give it a shot here. If we get 2,000, I'll be happy. I don't even know if we're going to get that much. It's only 3 trees, so the odds are low. Wow. Wow. Okay. That really, really, really sucks. That is not what I expected. I really was hoping for 2,000. We didn't even get 1,000. Oh boy. Those other 3 that I'm going to pull up here, they're probably not even going to be worth bringing up here. Oof. Alright, well, I will go get them. I'll bring them up here, and then we can at least look and see what kind of money we'd get back for the winch, and then we'll make a decision on if we should keep it or not. At least we did make a little bit of money. Like I said, it went past 10 o'clock. We did make a little bit of money off the greenhouses, so, you know, at least we got something. Alright, here we are, gang. I am surrounded by tree branches, but we made it up here nonetheless. These are all the remaining trees. $500. So, just short of $1,500 is what we got for all those trees. Which really, I guess, isn't that bad when you think about it, but man, it does feel bad, though, doesn't it? So, let's head up to the shop. Let's see what they'll give me for the winch, and if it's just simply not sufficient, or not good enough, maybe we'll keep it. But let's at least see what they're going to offer to sell it back to them. Now, I could have, you know, in hindsight, probably just leased something. I think a lot of the guys are allowing that. I'm not allowing any leasing. I very rarely do I allow any leasing on any series of mine. So, for me, it's a keep it or sell it kind of thing. So, let's head back up there. Let's see what the shop guy will give me, and we'll go from there. All right, we're going to sell it, gang. We're going to basically lose around $600, $540, $550, $560, really. So we made $800-900 off the trees. That's fine. We'll get the money back. We could use the money, so we'll take it back. All right, that puts us to 56,324. We are getting ready to flip to 11 o'clock, so we should get a little bit more money here again. A couple $1,000s, hopefully. It might be less. It really depends on how much is available to be sold from the greenhouses, right? So we'll head back. There is on the way here, I say on the way here, it was on the way to take some trees here. I did notice that there is a field up here that has root crop in it. It's ready to harvest. Now, we don't have enough money to harvest it, but it'd be kind of nice to have it, I think. It's not terribly far away from our farm. I mean, it is, but it's not that far. And it's quite a big field. It's not too expensive. So it's this field right here coming up. So we're going to talk about this really quick here, and then we'll head back to the yard here. So it's red beet, 87% yield bonus, ready to harvest. Does have some damage here. Obviously, some hail damage came through here, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's a decent size here. Now that I'm seeing it, I probably should have kept the winch. There's trees on here too, but yeah, I think we'll hold off on it. It's a nice field, but we don't have a harvester anyway, right? So it would just be sitting there. It's not really something I want to do. So we'll head back to the yard here, and we'll have to look and see what kind of contracts we get out there, because there's not really a whole lot else for us to do today. We could get a stump grinder, sure, and probably get rid of the stumps and maybe kind of work on expanding the yard a little bit. Maybe that is the way we should go, but let's at least head back to the yard and take a look at some contracts and see if there's anything out there, and then maybe we'll kind of end the episode with grinding up those stumps and maybe doing a slight bit of a rethink on the yard, or maybe we don't. Who knows? But regardless, head back to the yard, check out some contracts. Be back with you then. Alright, so checking the board here. We do have 2 plowing contracts here. I think we're going to do both of them. It's a decent size, or they're decent size, I should say. They're both decent size. We do have a plow, so we should be able to do these no problem. And it's a decent amount of money. I mean, we'll get $5,000 out of this, so I think it's worth it. So let's accept this one. Oh, we forgot to turn these in from the last episode. Whoops. Well, we got a little bit more money then. That's good. Up to 61. Forgot about the other contracts to turn in. Whoops. Good thing they didn't expire. That would have been bad. Would have been really bad. So I think we're going to head up to field 78 first. This is an area that I want to be a little bit more familiar with anyway. I want to take a look at all the fields up here, mostly because this is the kind of the way that I would like to expand this farm, is over here to the left here. If you look at the map in the left-hand corner, that big quadrant of smaller fields there, that's the way that I want to go. Mostly because, as you already can see, right now we're starting with a root crop base for this field. So smaller fields in a more square, rectangular in this case, rectangular path are a lot easier and a lot better to manage. Now, to be fair, most of the fields on Zielonka are in that format, so but yeah, either way, this is kind of the area that I want to be at, is over here to the left. I like this little quadrant of fields here. All right, looks like this is our field right here. All right, we're underway. Now, the nice thing about the plow that we have, it is a relatively quick plow, and I've mentioned this, I know, many times in the past. I prefer this type of plow versus the more traditional standard plow, which is kind of like an offset. I don't know why. I like this better. This is easier for me to work and utilize. I think it's easier for me to also make a perfectly, well, let me rephrase that. It's easier for me to try to make a perfectly squared or rectangular field versus the other one, if that makes any sense. I'm sure it does to most of you. Now, I was talking about the stones. Was it last episode, first episode? I don't know which one it was, but we do have stones on. I don't know why. For some reason, I was just blanking. I guess I'm just so used to not having stones on in most series, because I normally just don't want to deal with them. Honestly, that's the reason why I don't turn them on. But in this series, they are on, so I don't know why I was thinking that. I think it's mostly because when we expanded our field that we have on our first farm, on the greenhouse farm, right? When we had expanded that field initially, there weren't really any rocks that populated, so I guess that's just kind of where my mind was, is that, oh, okay, well, the rocks aren't on. But I really didn't look, which is my own fault. It's part of my fault. I get it. It's my fault, but I just kind of assumed, based off of that field from the first farm, that they weren't on. So when I saw them populated here in our farm 2, I was like, what is going on? That is weird. But that's the reason. So just to clarify that for some of you, I'm sure, who were yelling at me in the comments like, you have them on, Z, you have them on. Yes, I do. You're right. I do. All right, we're at 61,000. Now, we need to get to 100,000 at a bare minimum. The harvester that I want to utilize for our root crops is $100,000. The reason I want to utilize that one, or the reason that I want that one specifically, is because it does have a storage for the root crops. Now, the other harvesters that you can get are a little bit cheaper, and by a little bit cheaper, I mean they're a lot cheaper. They don't have any storage. So what does that mean? Well, you'd have to run a worker in tandem with you with the trailer next to it, unloading the root crop, carrots, or whatever it is, on the fly. While that's really not a big problem, as we carry on in this series, it will eventually turn into a big problem. There is going to be a period of time where we have so much to do, especially when we have the third farm going, that we cannot keep up, and we're going to have to utilize a worker. So because of that reason alone, simply that reason alone, we want one that can store it. Also, the main reason why we want it right now is because we only have one tractor. We'd have to have a second tractor, or at least a truck of some sort, if we were going to run them in tandem, right? So, with only one tractor, probably for the foreseeable future, we are going to need that $100,000 one. Now, you could always say, well, you could just buy the cheaper one and then buy a cheap tractor to go with it and pull the trailer. You're right, I could. Don't really want to do that. Don't really want to do that. So that's my approach here. That's why we're going the way that we're going. That's why we're trying to save up this money, and we're really not spending a whole lot of money yet on Farm 2. Is because of that reason. Now, I don't think we're going to have a problem with getting there. I don't. I truly don't. We've got enough greenhouses that are chewing through all of that. We're not those crops are not going to be ready to harvest for at the earliest March, April earliest. I'm assuming, I don't know this for sure, but assuming they are the same growing stage as they were in FS22, I think it was 4 or 5 months. So, we planted them in December. It's January now. Just count the months, right? But we'll see, right? So, we've got a couple of months to try to get to there. We are going to do some more contracts like these to get us there. And if we get there early, great. That means we can look to start, expanding and buying another field somewhere. All right, we're almost done here. We'll finish this. We're going to collect it immediately, and then we're going to head over to the other one. The other one is pretty far away. Top right corner, basically. Well, nearly the top right corner of the field. Of the map, excuse me. All right, this one is done. So let's go ahead and turn that in. After this quick save, which is taking longer than a quick save should take. All right, 1,659. That was pretty easy money right there, right? Wasn't too bad. Let's head over to field 23. There's a ways away. Let's get there and let's get it plowed up, huh? All right, we're nearly done with this contract as well. Not too bad. I didn't utilize any steering assist or anything like that. Look at how bad that that train is kind of glitching through in the distance there. Man, they really need to fix this game. Anyway, not too bad at all. It didn't take too long. I had a nice little bit of a time lapse there on the way from the previous field to this one. Haven't done that in a while. You know, a little bit of a time lapse drive through town, so decided to do that. This will be good, though. This should get us close to 70 grand here, which means we absolutely will be able to get the harvester here in time without any kind of concern whatsoever about the crop being ready to harvest, and we don't have it, so we'll be fine. A lot of hail damage down there. Look at down there in the distance. Look at all the hail damage on those fields. It's all like scattered all around the place. Lots and lots. That field right there, man, they got a ton of hail damage. Feel bad for them. Feel bad for that neighbor right there. Oof. I think he had some tornado damage too. Isn't that where the dead trees are, or down that vicinity? Pretty sure it is. All right, contract's finished. Another quick save here. And we can collect that. Perfect. Gets us to 68,541. Fantastic. A bit of a shorter episode today, a bit of a little less going on as well, but we're going to leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. All that good stuff helps me out more than you could possibly imagine. Let me know your thoughts down below. We're on the train here, man. We are on the train. Farm 2 is moving along and moving along well. So we're going to continue on, seeing where Farm 2 takes us. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.